Got square body dump back inside. Whoa, sorry about that, almost dropped you. Gonna throw a tarp system on this, and I use the term system very loosely. That's a piece of conduit I had laying around, which just happens to be the right width. As I mentioned in the last video, I'm gonna drill into this angle iron here. Instinctively, I would want to mount it to the top of the body right there, but I'd rather drill into this. This is real, what I would call makeshift. I did this on the other truck. It's that truck that Michael and I own. I own a mid-sized truck with a buddy of mine, a C30, I think that one is. And I basically just screwed a tarp down with some wood to the body, and it's basically just to cover the load, just to keep locals off your case, so to speak. It's a good idea anyway. Nobody wants to follow somebody with a load of dirt that's not tarped. So yeah, at any rate, let's see what we can do here. I'm actually gonna go a little bit fancier on this one. I'm gonna just drill some holes in that angle iron, fit that conduit through there, put a pin on either end, and then I'll put some kind of crank. And by crank, I mean I'll weld a couple of bolts or something just to make an L crank on the end of that. I don't even think that's necessary, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do. All right, stand by. Okay, so here's where we're at. So my initial thought was pretty simple. Drill a couple of holes, one hole here, one hole on the other side, slip the conduit through it, drill a hole through this, pin it on either end, and then it just kind of settles there. It is a little, not that it's too short. I would have liked to have a little bit of extra space down there, and I thought, all right, so what if I anchor it here somehow? So in the spirit of Jed Clamp It, which I think we're going to start calling this truck, I said, let me, what can I fit inside of here and anchor to this? Well, we found this lug nut that fits in there nicely, just a little bit of play, enough for it to, I thought I'll just weld it there and then I'll slip that on there, drill a hole on the other side and slip it through. But then I thought, geez, it'd be even easier if I could find a lug nut or a lug stud to go through there, which is exactly what I did. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up this hole a little bit here, just enough to get the lug stud through. I'm going to bolt that to this. That's only going to leave us with having a hole saw, one hole over there to put the pipe through. Why not, right? Let me get to getting on this and see if we can see if this works out. This is what I get for thinking. All right, so all I've done is I've added a washer with some teeth, some red Loctite. Dry that in. Like so. That is some Jed Clamp It mastery right there. So then, as I was saying, this will just slip onto that. We're going to drill a hole on the other side, wide enough to fit the pipe, the conduit through. And we will attach our tarp to that. I'm happy with that. All right, let's figure out. Way to drill a hole on the other side without killing ourselves in a half a dozen drill bits. This hole saw set has been phenomenal. It is a Blue Mall, BLU-MOL. I don't know if that's a popular brand, or I have had it for better than 20 years. I've lent it out I don't know how many times. It's drilled countless holes, but at this point it's missing some bits, it's missing some parts. Right now I have the incorrect centering bit in there, but let's see what we can do. And if this doesn't work, well, I don't know. And there you go. And there you have it. There's the hole. A little bit bigger than it needs to be. Let me get the pipe. All right. So it goes a little something like this. We got some burrs on the end of the pipe. And then we're going to slip it in here, like so. Yeah. Yep. Next step, obviously, is we're just going to drill that for a pin. All right, so I thought, oh, real quick and easy, I'll just put a clip on that, not thinking that I'm not going to have any clearance in there for the clip to spin. So, you know, I was actually just going to use something like this, like an Allen-headed bolt, pin it in, you know, cut it, but that's not going to work. I mean, it may, but you know, I don't want to run into too much interference with it. Basically, we just got to keep it from moving that away. And I can add another bracket. Now it's turning into a bigger project than it needs to be. Let me think about this for a second. You know, it's funny when you're doing a one-off thing like this and just kind of winging it. The best ideas are always the second ideas. I suppose what I could do is easily put one more bracket here, drill another hole, weld a piece of metal here, then clip it here where we have this clearance for a clip to spin, or a pin for that matter. But what I'm going to try and do instead, I think there's just enough clearance for these little Allen heads here. And if I put 3 of them, 3 or 4 in here, I think it'll be enough in different positions. Oops. I think it'll be enough in different positions that I don't have to worry about it either interfering with that or sneaking under that one gap, because, you know, maybe you got one sitting here, but then you got one underneath. And what I'll do with that is, I don't know if you guys have ever seen these. That is a drill bit with a tap built right in. So it drills the hole and then thread taps it. Those are M6. Let me give this a shot. I'm gonna try just one first and see what we get. All right, and there's what we're left with. I tried to get a 4th one in there, but couldn't. It's not interfering with the back piece, and it's not letting that pipe out at all. Those are red Loctited in there. I think we're good to go. Worst case, I could close this gap off on the angle iron a little bit with the welder. I just don't think I'm going to have to, though. it's not giving us just the slightest amount of give, which is good. All right, 2 steps left. We got to do something about a crank. I might shorten out of here. We got to do something about a crank, which I was going to do something super fancy, and then I thought, no. And then we just got to throw a tarp on this. I'm sure you see where I'm going with this. We plan on extending it just a little bit. That's why I cut both of them. I was gonna, again, it doesn't take a ton of force to crank that tarp in there. Let's see what we got. Just taping away there. Videoing away. Come on. What? That ain't going nowhere. The final looky-loo before we put a tarp on it. So we went with the stud, the wheel stud and nut to hold this side in. Allow it to pivot on there nicely. And then on the other side, we just drilled through the angle iron that was here. Put a couple of small set screws to keep it from coming out. And then we added our exhaust to our exhaust hanger crank and a plastic, and a rubber cap to top it off. All right, quick trip to Hobo Freight, and we've got the final pieces of the puzzle. Some zip ties, our tarp, some tie downs, and then I had to stop at Lowe's for one more piece of conduit. This is 3/4 by 10 foot, and believe it or not, that 10 footer fit in the Lexus. I thought it would be hanging out the trunk, but man, I popped the back seat down, reclined the front seat in the passenger side, and man, it fit underneath the glove box and all the way into the trunk. So I was happy about that. Otherwise, I would have stuck it out the sunroof. Anyway, let's get this tarp on here. Let's wrap this project up. Mesh tarp, nothing fancy. Quite the contrary. And basically what I need to do is just cut this conduit down to the size I want it. Without breaking my neck. And do the exact same thing down here. Zip tie it. And basically the same treatment. We're going to just zip tie it. That's going to do it. The only thing I will add to that is up on top. There's no need for that tarp to drape down like that. So on the top here, what I plan on doing is putting some kind of hook or something to grab that conduit. I'm still trying to come up with a way to anchor this back here. With the other truck, I just let it drape. And I suppose I can do that with this. It doesn't really matter. I think almost too good. Even just a couple of small J hooks on the tailgate would do it. I don't know. What do you guys think? A couple of J hooks here. Just bring it around. Trying not to overthink it, but that's yeah. Simple, just J hooks off the tailgate would be enough to do it. Just something for the tube to grab. Wind back tight. Something to that degree. And there you go. Sometimes it's the simplest answer. I was definitely guilty of overthinking that. Just put a couple of tabs on top of the tailgate. That'll just keep it from going back that way. Same thing on this side, obviously. And then to keep tension on it, I used a real slick device, a bungee cord. And that's really as simple as it gets. Like I said, sometimes you get going on a project like this and you start overthinking it. Maybe I should have put a tab in the middle. Oh my God. All right, that's gonna do it for this project. I'm Smitty. I am slightly obsessive, and I'm out.